It took me like 22 years to figure out what TCBY meant. Do you know what TCBY?
No.
You know what it is.
Thank you, Base God.
Trustful. No, I have no idea.
It's the ice cream yogurt business. TCBY.
Not clicking.
Which is fine because
I mean, first of all,
My
who
clutch
eats
is in
there?
neutral right now.
Am I
It's not
right?
going
the only one
anywhere.
I know of is over in
Homewood.
yeah.
Yeah, it's This Can't Be Yogurt.
Oh, okay.
That's what it stands for.
my
I
gears
thought
are
it was
now
the
in drop.
country's best yogurt.
No, it's This Can't Be. Yeah, I think it's the country's best yogurt.
This can't be yogurt.
This can't be yogurt.
It's like the butter.
It's water and butter.
Welcome to the Mochi podcast.
Oh yeah, I didn't do it.
The coolest cat just got a podcast, and with your host Tim, Zach, Hayden, Mochi screaming in the background, and our special. No, not guest. You're part of the and Lake. Lake is in the podcast.
Yeah.
He's here. He's staying. He ain't going anywhere.
I've been promoted to small host.
Yeah, he's small host.
Small host.
Miniature
That's his
host.
title at small host.
He's the smallest of all
I'm
of
gonna
us.
update it after.
I meant to bring this up earlier when I was talking to you about how talked about listening to the last podcast on the left, and they had an episode that talked about serial killers called by the names of Charles Ng and Richard Lake. His last name is Lake. Listening to an episode. So they, of course, serial killers, they're like kind of drifters, and they go from town to town, and whenever they do apply for jobs, sometimes they won't use their real names. It just so happens that Richard Lake, when he applied for the job, he made his name Richard Blake. And I was like,
So creative.
so stupid. And that's just like only something that we could really appreciate, but figured I'd let you know.
What's your name? Oh, it's Lake. Blake? No, Lake. Luke?
And I was like,
Maybe it's just a mess up. Maybe he didn't do it. The person just heard him wrong. And then they're like, oh, yeah, Blake. And then put it down.
Maybe.
He
He probably suffers the same thing I do. They just don't want to understand that it's Lake.
Have you ever thought about going by your middle name though?
Tyler? Yeah.
all three of us have the same middle name.
Yours is Tyler?
Yes.
Dude, that's
My
dope.
name is
My middle name is not Tyler.
Okay.
Zach Tyler,
I have
Lake
two
Tyler,
last
Hayden
Then
Tyler.
Tyler, Roger.
We're all Tyler.
Tyler, Roger. Rogers.
It's the name of this episode. Tyler Rogers.
Let's do Tyler Rogers. That's such a good name.
So for people to understand, my mom gave me her maiden name, which was Rogers.
Mhm.
And so, for example, the other day when that police officer came in, he had an attitude with Sarah, and I heard it over the phone. When he asked for my name, and he's like, "What's his name?" Timothy. He wrote it down, and his middle name Rogers. And he goes, "No, his middle name Rogers." Like,
Wow.
yeah,
Wow.
because Rogers is not a middle. Mom, Rogers not a middle name, but
Without the S, it is. But with the S, it's...
yeah. So with the S,
like
yeah.
it.
Anyway, I thought it was kind of funny because she's just like, his middle name is Rogers. So
Did I stutter?
did I stutter, officer?
Can't believe your middle name is Tyler as well. It's so silly. It's a good
Which
middle
is
name,
cool.
though.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a good, solid middle name.
Three have it. Nice.
Anyway, so we first topic other than the serial killers and how
No,
they
I
changed their
was
last
talking
name.
to Zach about that earlier, and I just now remembered. So
I was going to say, this wasn't even on my topic sheet for this week, but that brings up a really good thing for me is, and especially since you've known me for so long, and you've seen me kind of, I guess, progress in a long time with like taste. So I want the first topic to be about tasting, like how your taste buds have matured or unmatured or widened since you've grown up. Because I remember like being young and mustard was like the worst thing in the world.
Mhm.
Like, what?
Okay.
Like, so stuff like that. So like mustard, I would never eat mustard. And now I refuse to eat ketchup because I just don't like how ketchup tastes. I love how mustard tastes now. I'll put mustard on everything, hash browns, fries. I'll do like all of that, which is so weird. But like, did like any of y'all have any like weird things that you hated as a kid? But like, I still don't like cake.
Do you do any of the like weird food combinations like French fries and milkshakes? Like I know we talked about Caleb one episode where he had like
God, he's a freak.
Mayonnaise and peanut butter or something.
Yeah, mayonnaise and peanut butter
sandwiches.
But he's the guy who would eat MREs and be like, man, these are good.
Okay, some MREs were good.
Not the ones that he ate. Because trust me, I was there.
Have you guys tried them?
MREs? Yeah.
Yeah.
Meal ready to eat. Military rations.
This can't be. Yeah.
I can't
I've always wanted
I can't
to
believe
try
it's not MREs.
MREs.
Some of them are pretty good. Some of them are bad.
Yeah, he made us. Him, and Mitchell drove all the way to some lake. I think it was probably Lake.
Purdy?
No, it was farther than that. Forgot what the big one. Anyway, we drove out there to go fishing.
Lake Erie.
Mm-hmm.
You said the big one further than that. That's the only one I can think of.
We went fishing and everything down there, and he, instead of us like stopping to get like food and stuff like that, because they had a house, but we couldn't go in the house because it was locked for the summer, and Caleb brought a huge backpack full of MREs. So that was the first time I've ever experienced those before.
What kind did you have?
He brought a bag of lemonade. So it was an MRE full of warm lemonade.
Gross.
And I was like, so are we supposed to drink warm? He's like,
That's like so
man, we gotta drink
sour.
And Caleb has literally the lowest voice I've ever heard.
I'm gonna have to turn your octave down to like match it with that.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, I just like the.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
That's not an effect, people. That's like.
How do you do that?
Yeah, that's like the.
He like. It sounds like he's just opening his mouth.
I try to like say a word. I don't know if I can do that again.
Say MREs. Let's eat warm lemonade.
Let's eat warm lemonade. I don't know if I can do that. I just sound like I'm stupid. I sound like I'm like Big Ed or something from Ed, Edd n Eddy.
Neanderthal.
That's how I mean, not to rag on Caleb. That's just like his voice.
He reminds me of like Delocated, like the guy who wore like the ski mask on Adult Swim, and he had like a voice box to change him to like a deep voice.
All I can think about the reason I do that voice is because they do that in Austin Powers when they slow it down. Instead of like their normal voices going in slow motion, they make them super low, which wouldn't be normal. It's just silly, yeah.
Okay, so what flavor MREs did you have?
So lemonade, the drink, peanut butter sandwiches, but he brought mayonnaise. I'm dead serious.
It's like a whole jar.
He had like a chicken sandwich.
Okay, what when I think of like MREs, I think of like spaghetti or lasagna.
Yeah, he had that too. I didn't finish.
Okay.
He had
raspberry.
He had lasagna. But I forgot to mention about the lemonade. It was powder. So you mixed the powder with water and stirred it.
As you do with lemonade.
Yeah. I mean, but the only water we had was like warm water bottles. That's like all we had. So we had to buy water bottles. Like, imagine I'm in war and I have to have a water bottle in war to be able to drink my lemonade.
He's got to go to like a surplus
You
store.
can get them from not downtown.
Down under.
There's a surplus store somewhere.
Yeah, here local.
Well, there's an Army surplus store in downtown Leeds, but I don't think he would go all the way to Leeds for that. I mean, that's just.
His dad's in the military, or his family. He's like a military family.
Yeah, that makes more sense than like him just being like, man, I want to go get some MREs today.
I said
Walmart.
I just literally said fucking and put it on my bait. Fucking threw it out there. Because I was like, man, this is garbage. This is actually garbage.
Well, since we're talking about taste buds changing, we'll try one now.
Yeah, dude.
See if you like
Amazon order.
Dude, I love MREs. Yeah.
I mean, I'd be down to try it. I tried when I went to.
They're sick. I mean, if you get a good one, they're not bad at all.
No,
we lived off those for summers, man.
I don't doubt those are like bad at all by any means. But what I was gonna say, speaking of like trying stuff, when I went to Publix earlier, I bought some sake to try for a little bit, and I don't know if you guys, me and Zach had some. We had like a shot of it.
Is there some left?
Yeah, there's some in the fridge. Yeah, for sure. It's not at all what you're thinking. It's some cheap something. It's like the bottle's like $4, and I was like
$4.
And I was like, I know what I'm getting into. It's not going to be high grade by any means, but I was like, I'll try it just to see kind of like the gist of what it could be. But super smooth. I mean, like, I really want to go to like Asian market and get some like more high grade, more like better ones, because they only had like one bottle in the entire like wine selection of Publix, which is huge. It's an entire aisle. I had one bottle of sake I found, and I was like, why not?
Have you been to the Asian market over there?
I haven't.
We should go.
I didn't know we had
Green
one.
Springs.
Yeah.
I've been with Hang at least once or twice before. They have so much good stuff.
Oh,
it's
yeah,
awesome.
dude, it's
so
crazy.
much good stuff. Yeah. I really want to go because last time I went to Asian market, I got some like shrimp. I got some shrimp snacks and some octopus snacks. And it was
Like dried octopus?
Yeah, and it was
I want to
actually
try that.
it was the dried octopus.
Is it like jerky?
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
She talked me into buying it, saying it was really, really good, and I bought it, and I remember eating the entire bag over at my friend's apartment like that night, and this is really, really good. So I never thought I'd like something that seems weird, but it is good. And like Asian market has tons, like it's huge. There's tons of awesome stuff you can try for the first time.
I went over there when I lived with Tim, and I bought all those dumpling wraps.
Yeah.
That day we did steamed dumplings. That's why I got those from
Sounds
there.
really good.
Is it? It's so weird because I was gonna bring up Red Pearl, and I'm glad it just randomly happened. I was gonna bring that up.
Have
is
you guys
Red
been
Pearl?
since they renovated?
Is it still same spot or is it
Same
bigger?
spot, but it's like, before when you went into the Asian market, it was just like this little nook off to the right.
Mhm.
And there was like a bus stop or something here. Like it was a part of the building, but it was a different company or something.
Are you talking about it becoming a restaurant?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Something
I've been
so
there.
now it's like a full on like restaurant.
Yeah,
now.
me and Shelby went there and ate a long time ago. That's how long ago it's been that me and Shelby went.
We should all go. Definitely just so he can check it out because
Yeah.
Asian
I bet
market,
he'd lose his mind in there.
Do you want to go like this weekend or something?
For sure, yeah, why not?
Yeah, I'm down.
That'd be great.
I don't know.
I got an
know.
off day after Friday. I think Saturday. I'll
Well,
check
I'm off
Sunday.
on Saturday too. So, so
Wow.
yeah, we can all
He's
ride
already
over there.
prepared to go there.
We can all hop in my car. So
By the
it's
way,
not
I
very
just-
far.
I just bought a MRE, by the way.
What flavor did you get?
It's random,
Oh, mystery
so it's
pack.
even better.
Is it just one?
I
So
just
it's
bought
going-
one.
It's going to
because
be
they're
Brussels
expensive.
sprouts. It's very expensive.
It was pretty expensive.
How much was it?
It was $14 or
Oh.
$15
I thought you were
for
going to say
one?
like
for
Well,
one.
I paid more for an 8-ounce bag of jerky. I paid $24.
Why?
It was some good jerky,
Make your
bro.
own
8
jerky.
pound.
I'll try it.
That's what I
Listen,
told him, man.
that's
8
what we need to
ounces?
get on. We don't even need a dehydrator. Just hang that on a line out in the front yard. Let it dehydrate naturally.
Well,
Dehydrate.
Dehydrate naturally.
I don't know about.
I don't know why I said it like
Start eating
that.
some of that dehydrated
You
meat.
were mentioning at work today something about beef jerky. Like,
Yeah.
y'all went somewhere.
Because we went to Gulf Shores, and it was a good trip,
Tell us about
but it was really cold the whole time we were there, and like with the ocean breeze coming in. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. We went to a place called the House of Jerky, and we walked in there, and that was like the best place I've ever been to in Gulf Shores.
It was like
Hands down.
Lake's like I'm home.
Yes.
it.
Is
I
that the
love
one that
jerky.
had the bras and panties?
Yeah.
No, that was
I
another
sent.
place.
I sent. Some, I was talking to Lake over the
Different kind of
weekend.
jerky. Am I right, guys? Am I right?
Oh,
I realized, man. All right, before I get into that, like, I realized how, like, over the weekend, the past week, whatever, and I've been playing Dark Souls. I've been just listening to Game Grumps, and I'm like, all their jokes are just so corny and bad. And then I'm like, and then Tim cracks jokes, and I'm just like, I know where he gets it from, because Aaron says awful jokes all the time, and I'm just like, God, it's so bad, but it's so funny. And then we get on the podcast, and Tim is just like, hope you're ready for all these jokes I've got. But yeah, I was talking to Lake over the weekend. I was and he's like, dude, I'm in Florida. He sent me a picture of like a bar. And then next thing I know, it's like this giant, like the entire ceiling is just filled up with bras. And I'm like, what? What's going on?
I sent a reaction picture, and it was
Anime guy, like,
it's an anime
nose-
guy from Bako no Test, and it was him getting like a nosebleed.
you're one of those, yeah.
Was that in the group chat?
Was it like a
No, I
coyote?
sent
it
it
was-
just to him.
Okay.
Was it like a Coyote Ugly place or whatever? One of those
It's-
type
it's-
bars or
it's-
something?
It's called the Florida-Bama. Florida-Bama.
Oh,
Line?
I've heard that. Yeah, no, it's
Yeah,
I've seen it.
It's
before.
on the line. It's right in between Alabama and Florida. And
They
it's
have, like,
this.
tons of
Two
shirts.
guys that
It's like
singing
it's-
it, right?
Yes, Tim. And it's like it's
He's not having it.
it's like a music venue, but it's almost set up like
Gift shop,
no, it's like
surf shop.
it's like they took.
It looks like
Have
three
you
separate
seen
buildings.
Have you seen Hangout Fest? and it's like a huge stage outside.
Yeah.
And then so take that huge stage and put like 3 of them all next to each other, and then build them all in their own separate wooden rooms, but then connect it via hallways.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about.
So weird.
It's a really big like venue where like multiple places can play.
Like if you don't like this one place, you just go downstairs to another.
That's kind of how the
live
masquerade, like
session.
the masquerade, maybe.
It's like a fair, but it's like indoors, but like half of it is tents and half of it is like half-built structures that they've made
I've seen like tons of Floribama like shirts and stuff like that from people who just go in. That's like a big tourist attraction.
It's been around forever.
Yeah.
But
Is it? I'm picturing it like the 7th venue in Douglasville. Do you guys remember that venue?
I've been to that a handful of
like
times.
it's a movie theater.
It's
where like you go down a hallway and then there's a
venue
you
was
go into
huge,
a movie
man.
theater and then you go down and there's
Do
another.
you have any pictures of it?
yeah,
I've got very little pictures.
so you come in.
I'm curious.
Remember
Here's
how-
some photos from like the top floor,
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
looking
Yeah.
down.
I mean,
That
the
looks sick.
7th venue was also gigantic.
That was actually my favorite place because like you had this balcony area where everybody was hanging out
Mhm.
over
But-
the stage.
So we went down there, and it just so happens when we got down there, it's St. Patrick's Day, and it's spring break,
Mhm.
and so there's just all
Oh, that's
these
right.
like kids, like country hick, I mean, not to diss on anybody, but it is. It's just like a bunch of high schoolers out there just partying and having a good time.
bunch of
And
Hank
so-
Hills.
So we're in this like what feels like a fairground, an indoor state fair.
Yeah.
With just thousands of people. And the way that it's set up with all the different stages and stuff, there's like a tiki bar here, and then right next to it's like a real bar, and then you go downstairs and there's like another distillery, and then there's like another tiki bar, and then like another bar, but none of them, they're all independent. So it's like you can't start a tab downstairs and then walk over to the next stage. Like you have to close out your tab at this little tiki bar.
That's overwhelming.
And like
for a bar.
there's food and stuff, but it's like concession stands almost. Like it's such I don't know.
It was overwhelming.
Google it. Google the Florida.
No, I've seen and I've had family members go over there before too. And Tim kind of mentioned the 7th venue. I remember the 7th venue. It was like I went a handful of times to the 7th venue, and it was gigantic for like a venue. They had like barbecue fest there a few times, like multiple times actually. But like, yeah, I've heard tons of stuff about Floribama, but I've never actually, of course, been.
Yeah.
It seems cool though.
I missed the 7th venue. My
Dude.
one of my favorite shows of all time is from there.
Mochi is going ham on that.
You know a band I saw at the 7th venue. Maybe you saw them there too. Like I saw the Contortionist there.
yeah.
And I didn't even know who the Contortionist was when I saw them, and I was like watching them because I think a band that was coming up after them I really wanted to see. I think they were playing right before Unearth, and I really wanted to watch Unearth, and Unearth was insane. But I remember seeing the Contortionist, and I was like, these guys they're like clean as hell live.
Yeah, I went to Screen of Prayer there because that was one of the best Screen of Prayers. Where like for today, there was for today there. Oh damn, what's that big band called? There's a lot of Christian metal, but the ones that I remember the most is my mom taking me because I couldn't drive yet because I was like 13 years old. My mom watched I Wrestle a Bear once with us, and she went to that one with me.
Was it the Chariot?
Hold on, can we do something with the cat?
Yeah, it's
Yes.
just nonstop.
You're gonna have to let him in.
And then
We
he'll
can't
want to go
put
back
him in
outside
Can't
immediately.
put him in the bedroom?
No, because he's gonna scratch the door.
Um,
Just leave the door open.
that same night that I saw Contortionist and
It's just a
Unearth,
cat.
it was Barbecue Fest, and the Chariot played, and that was like one of their final shows, which is crazy. That was like one of their last 5 final shows or some shit, which is awesome. But I love the Chariot.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, the Chariot, man. Oh man, that's
Crazy
such
band.
that's a topic that's on. Seeing the Chariot like 4 times and like how different every show is.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because just to put up the 7th venue a little bit, it was a hey Mochi, it was a theater. So it was an old theater, and this was one of the huge, big matinee rooms, and they had this huge 10-foot stage. So there you would walk down on an incline to get to the top, because then that's where the big screen would go, and the bands would play on top of that. They have huge poles all the way, because it's like cathedral ceilings, because it's a movie theater, and they would have like speakers and all that stuff come up, and like Wolf. Was that the bassist name? Wolf would climb literally to the top of it and play. It barely plays bass. He don't ever play. He just flings it around.
Yeah. They don't need bass, actually.
Yeah. I mean, they play in like drop F, so you can't even tell what they play.
Yeah.
But like they would do crazy stuff like that. And then when I was 13, me, Taylor Lawler, Christian Nelson, and one other person I can't remember. Casey Clem, we drove all into one truck, so we were like 4 in the backseat of a small extended cab. So we were cramped all the way up to Georgia to see Whitechapel in 2006 and Del Wars Prada in 2006. And it's just like, and a Grateful. Those are like the 3 main bands.
A Graceful.
A Graceful?
It was a Graceful.
A Grateful. I'm a Grateful. And man, that's like one of those like shows that like kind of set you off for like the beginning of everything.
You're good. Don't worry about it.
So.
Yeah. Lost an ear.
Oh no, it's
because my feet were getting cold.
Okay. Yeah,
so I had to shut the window.
All got connection now.
But yeah, so man. So I have a couple topics if y'all want to try to get into some stuff, if you care.
Yeah. I'm sorry. My head is just still hurting. Go. You said like taste change. You still want to go on that, or do you got something else? I don't really have anything for taste change.
Yeah. So
taste
before we got off onto that, we
just
gotta
times.
backtrack.
The MREs. They did it again.
We went down to Orange Beach this weekend, just so happened we're there for St. Paddy's Day. So that's the pictures of the venue he was talking about, because over one of the stages they had these like wires or rope or whatever, and then all the ladies would throw their bras and stuff on it. So that's what that is. But so the next day after the venue, we were trying to find stuff to do because it was like 40 degrees on the beach and it just rained like nonstop all weekend. And so trying to find something to do, we went to this shopping mall or whatever, and that's when we walked in this like jerky store, which is nothing but jerky, and there's like pineapple jerky. It's just pineapple, but he calls it jerky. I
love pineapple. I love that.
Kangaroo jerky. There was
all sorts of exotic meats,
stuff I'd never seen in my life. There's and then what did you end up getting?
So I ended up getting the natural beef because that's like the most basic.
It's the most manly
thing. No, dude, I would have if I had the chance, even though it probably would have been very expensive. Like you said, like because they have very exotic. I imagine like the more exotic the animal, the more expensive, of course. It does.
Actually,
animals that don't even.
They kept the same price. Like
really?
Even from like natural beef to gator, it was just like $6. So that was awesome because you can go in and like stack a cart of like some of the samplers.
See, I probably would have wanted to try like the most exotic, weird thing possible, just to say, yeah, I tried that, know what it tastes like, type deal. But dude, like the pineapple jerky sounds very. Pineapple jerky sounds very tempting because I love pineapple. So I don't know. It's
just weird because it's just a Ziploc bag with pineapple in it.
Is it like dried pineapple?
Like I guess it just looked like a slice of pineapple.
Yeah, you can scroll through that site. There's all sorts of different flavors. They separated between like beef, turkey, and then exotics. So you'll want to go on that tab.
the two main jerkies.
So it just looks like a slice of pineapple.
Is it really? Let me see.
I think that looks good. Dude, it says brown sugar pineapple jerky. That sounds pretty damn good.
That looks like it has mold on it. For the video people that watch the podcast, please put that picture up. It literally looks like there's mold on these pineapples.
It looks that way because he like roasted it or something. I don't know.
I don't know what he roasted it in.
It's just like freeze dried.
Hope you can see that.
Yeah, the roasted. Your mama's so fat that it'll snap twice.
It looks good though. There you go. Appreciate it. I want to.
God dang, that's pretty good, Lake. I like
I mean,
that.
Lake gave us like how many jokes before it was like, hey, that one hit.
Oh, man.
It's like Christian over here.
That is like Christian. Dang.
8 jokes, all I need is one of them hit.
It's already 11.
So I was telling Lake, because I was telling him about the beach and everything. He said that it's so cold in Florida that y'all couldn't enjoy the beach, and I was like, dude, how mad is Zach that he drove all the way down to the beach to not be able to drink beer on the beach and hang out at the beach?
No, but it ended up being super fun because we had Alex and Katie there,
Okay.
and I haven't seen Alex in almost 2 months. And so it was our first time seeing each other in so long, and there's drinks involved. And man, we stayed up till like 2 o'clock in the morning, just in the room, just like cracking up, just stupid
shooting the shit.
brother conversations. Yeah. And then one night we landed on, again, it's still raining and stuff, and we're all watching TV, and Shark Tank comes on.
Oh, God.
And so me and Alex start pitching our own ideas for like Shark Tank stuff, just like stupid
What's your best one?
I really don't remember. One of them was, there was these guys who came in and pitched the idea. It's the guys who started the potato parcel, the guys who write messages on potatoes and send those in the mail. Because you can just mail a potato. You don't have to put it in an envelope. You just slap a stamp on a potato and mail it.
What?
Yeah. And they started this service called Potato Parcel. And so you pay them to write on a potato and mail it off.
Dude,
and
I would mess with so many people.
me and Alex were like, just go to the store and buy your own potato. Why are you paying these people to write a message and mail it when you can?
Maybe they have a potato writer machine.
I don't know. It's a Sharpie. It's Sharpie.
Oh.
And then they do have another one. It's called Potato Pal. And you send them a photo of the person you want to mail it to. And then they print it out and they take a glue stick and they glue the photo to the potato and then mail the potato to the person.
And the potato rots, and then it's never any good.
Right, yeah. And so we just couldn't wrap our heads around, why would you pay someone to do that? Just go to the store and buy a potato.
These guys must be from Idaho.
Do it. And so they go to on Shark Tank, and there's like interest there. And the guy's like, they end up getting an investment. The guy gives him like $200,000 for 10% of his company on the potato parcel. So me and Alex are like, what the hell? Like, all right, we're gonna do mashed potatoes. We're gonna call it mashed mel, and we're gonna take mashed potatoes and put it in a Ziploc bag and write on the Ziploc, and
Or I was just gonna say, have a big old like what's like the magnets, the magnet letters and numbers, whatever. You get a whole big bunch of mashed potatoes and just put the magnets in there and spell something out.
Yeah,
I'd be like, yeah, that's $80 right there.
Yeah.
So
in our like drunken stupor, that was just like the funniest thing in the world.
Have like a limited edition run with some glitter in there.
I would have cried if I saw that drunk at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, so we had a lot of other ones. Ones where I was like, man, I wish I was recording this right now because these are gold. And I don't. Right now that I'm trying to think of it, I can't remember
happened
it.
a few times where we're hanging out. It's like, why aren't we recording or something? You know.
Yeah.
See, during that whole thing, it was like, I think sometime in the afternoon,
Lake was just eating
I was
a pile
in the
of
bedroom,
jerky.
like laying down because I was just tired from the night before. So I'd wake up every once in a while from my slumber, and I would just hear some like bullshit going on in the living room. And it was like the best. I heard something about potatoes at one point, and then I woke up and heard something about you guys were making jokes about why would you want somebody to send clothes to a hotel. I don't know what that was about, but it was like, why bring your clothes to travel when you can get somebody to send clothes? Used part like clothes.
Yeah, these guys had created a service where if you were traveling somewhere for business, you wouldn't have to take your own clothes. You tell this service what hotel you're staying at, and then you just fly there, and then you have a box that has like a suit in it. But it's like, it's a suit that everybody wears. It's not like your own personal suit. Like you wear it for the event, then you mail it back, and then they send it off to the next person who wants to wear a suit.
It's like rent a car, but for clothes.
Yeah, but they called it like unbox or
Unpack.
Unpack. And me and Alex went off on this tangent on
Unbirthing.
Went off on this because it was called Unpack, but before they actually pitched the idea, we were trying to guess what their pitch might be. So it was called Unpack, and we're like, okay, they offer a service where somebody shows up to your hotel and unpacks your clothes for you.
You're too tired.
You're too tired, so you're laying in bed, and like the stranger's just like unpacking all your underwear. And so then I pitched the idea, and I'm like, okay, we'll make a spinoff. We'll call it Undump Box. So you show up with all your stuff,
And you dump in their box. No.
you put all your stuff in a box and ship it, and then somebody, when you get to the hotel, they just dump it out for you. Here you go. That's our service, Dump Box.
$80 right there. Pay up.
And again, in our drunken stupor at 2 a.m., it's the funniest thing we've ever
It
heard.
reminds me of like all those times like when you would spend a night at the house and like we would go to bed, but we wouldn't go to bed for like another 2 hours.
We just lay there
We'd just
in the
lay
dark.
in the dark and just cry.
Oh
from,
my
like,
God. We
from
cried.
sadness.
We cried about that too because we got off on this tangent, and Alex was like, yeah, Katie says I started snoring now. And I'm like, ooh, let me
Getting
tell you about
fat.
snoring. I'm like, dude, when I first started hanging out with Tim, I would sleep in the same bed as him at night, and I would seriously like worry that I would wake up in the morning and Tim would be dead because his snore was like him choking on his tongue. It wasn't like a snore. It was like a
That's pretty good. Holy,
to a
that's
point
really
to where
good sound
it would
effect.
wake him up. He would like,
Wake himself up.
and then he'd roll over and get comfortable. And at some nights, I would like, he was like a heavy sleeper but a light sleeper. So no, he was a fast sleeper but a light sleeper. So as soon as his head hit the pillow, he'd be gone. But if I like turned over in the bed or moved a little bit, it would wake him up, and then he would roll over. So it's to the point to where he'd be like choking on his tongue that I would like ruffle around in the bed, and then he'd wake up and then get comfortable and roll back over.
He found the secret, the key.
God.
And dude, this happens. So I was telling Alex about that, and I'm like, just imagine like choking, like you're fighting to, like your body's fighting to live while you're
God.
asleep.
So
And Alex is just in tears. He's like crying.
my sister, I don't remember if you ever stayed at my house and heard my sister snore when she snored.
Mm-mm.
Dude, my sister, and I tried telling her plenty of times that she snored so loud, and she would always get mad because she thought snoring was like a horrible trait to have. And like, she was like, I don't know how to describe it other than like, it'd be like, it would be in the very next room, like across the hall, but I could hear it clear as day in my room. It'd be like,
Oh God.
and I'd just be like laying in bed like, and you wonder why I had earplugs, right? I had earplugs at my old house because not only does my sister snore, but my mom snores too.
Oh man.
So, but me and
Dang
my dad,
orchestra in there.
my dad do not snore whatsoever. And I try to tell my mom and my sister, it's like, you guys snore so loud and you don't realize it. And they're like, no, we don't. We don't snore, Hayden. What? And then my mom would be like, Leonard, do I snore? And he's like, yeah. Mom was like, you take his side over everything. But I was like, I know what you feel, how you feel, but like, God dang, man. I've never heard Tim snore actually, so.
He quit. He's I guess
I snored the other night and made Sarah mad, but Sarah snores every night. But like I snored like super bad the other night. I guess I was sleeping on my back or something. Because I only sleep on my side now. Once I started sleeping on my side and lost like 20 pounds, it was a little bit easier.
Yeah, because your tongue doesn't just
But
fall in the
man,
back of
my
your throat
mom
anymore.
though, dude, you can hear Linda from like the rooms away. My mom's like that. You've heard my mom snore too.
I think so. Maybe the night she fell asleep on the couch or something.
Oh yeah, you can hear my mom would be like on the couch with the TV all the way up, and you could hear her snore from like the bedroom with my door shut.
Yeah.
And the point where Jimbo kicks her out sometimes, like that happens.
Well, it was like that some nights too when I would stay over. I would try to fall asleep before you would.
Mhm.
Otherwise, I would be up for like another 45 minutes before I fell asleep. But what did we ever? Yeah, back to making Alex cry. Like, yeah, us laughing at 2 a.m. was very much the same of us just like laying in the dark, coming up with stupid.
Well, has Alex been listening to the episodes?
No. He actually asked if we were still doing the podcast. Hey, how's that podcast going?
It's good to see you every 2 months, but not listen to you.
Oh, well, no big deal.
Well, Alex, if you listen to a podcast, I miss you and I want to hang out with you.
Be
But you don't listen to podcasts, so.
Yeah, be on our episode with us, man.
We say it all the time.
Yeah.
I told him, dude, I'm like, come on, man. I'm like, we'll have a couple of brews and then we'll just
shoot the shoot.
Talk like we don't. Yeah, it's like, it's not like a bit or anything. It's just how we kind of, like every day at work when we were together, it was constantly just stupid, dumb humor.
Dude, you remember that thing we saw on the way to Gulf Shores?
You
That
got
church?
the topics, man.
And they had a sign that says, "Get a free ticket to heaven" inside. And it was like a really shady looking trailer.
Yeah, it was like...
That was a rough part of town on the trip.
It sounds like a Far Cry mission.
It does.
It was like... It wasn't a church sign, though. It was free ticket to heaven, and it was a sign pointing to a single-wide trailer that was like all like overgrown and looked sketchy. It looked fake. Like, it sounds like I'm making it up, but it's not.
Like it would like fall over if you like touched it.
Like somebody sketchy's inside who's like, they're not taking you to heaven. They're taking you through the worst
hell you've ever been.
Yes.
Yeah, like scraping the pot, cooking up the dope, and then they're gonna kill you.
Yeah.
It's like that's a threat.
But yeah, we got into Orange Beach, and everybody there drives pickup trucks that are tall enough you could rest your chin on the foot plate.
So Joe Banks lives there then.
Yeah, dude, I saw so many trucks. I was like, man, I wish I had that truck, man.
Man, I put some nuts on that thing.
Not that far, no. No.
Anyways, so I have two stories from people from the place that I work and what they said to me. Or one of them said to me and one said to my friend Race. So I'm going to do the one I had for me first. So I was talking to this lady and she wanted a new computer. And every time I would say something about the computer that I was selling to her, she'd go, and just hold her hand over her face for like a solid minute. Then come back and be like, okay, what else does it have? And then I would say I'm dead serious. And I'll say the next thing. So,
like what? Like, what do you tell this? This has a 64 megahertz bit processing chip.
She asked, is this 32? She goes, is this 32-bit? I said, no, it's 64.
Her life must be hard.
And then she
goes,
goes,
is it stressing her out?
Yeah. Super old. Okay, so I'm just going to start with the thing that she said to me that started this whole thing for me to put it in my phone. She goes, I said, this computer is it's a Windows 10 Home, so it's the new and latest one. She goes, Windows 98's the best they've ever made. Windows 98.
No argument.
Windows 98 is the best internet. It was super fast. I'm like, do you remember Windows 98? It was literally dial-up. It was literally like
I thought a second ago when you were like, and she goes instead of sighing, she was gonna go. Yeah, so Windows 98 was super
like
fast.
I just don't understand. I that's a phrase is no way you can hear. I'm like, man, that's 10 years old. Like, you know what was in 10 years ago? Barely the internet.
Windows 98?
Windows
20 years ago.
Oh yeah, it's 20 years ago. Fuck. God.
Getting old.
That's how much it blew my mind. Man, Windows 98 was fast because there was WordPress. That was like it. Like when you go to a website to look at text. Like, for example, my next topic after this is a movie, but like I was watching Final Destination last night.
Sorry.
Because it was the 19th anniversary. And when I was watching Final Destination, they all had their old computers because it came out in 2000.
How thick were they?
What?
Like that thick?
What do you mean? The computer?
The computers.
No, it's a...
Oh, I thought you were talking about like
it's a computer.
You said that you did that like it was a laptop. I was
no. There was no laptops. I mean, it's huge. The good old huge white monitor with a big old thing on the side or underneath it.
So this woman you're talking to in Best Buy.
Yeah.
So then what?
So after she goes, Windows 98 was the best software they ever made, and I was like, I was like, I guess. I was sure. I was
okay.
2.
When's the last time you used the internet?
Yeah, I was actually 6. But anyway, like it came out, and I was just like, because I actually saw this article of like it talking about like how our generation, so all of us around this table, are like the perfect generation for what is like happening right now. So this is going to lead to this. It's going to come back. Okay, so a little full circle. So I was reading an article where they're saying people born from 1989 to 1997 are the perfect for how our world is. Because if you were before that time, or if you're after that time, you're missing the generation of not having the internet and then having the internet.
Right.
And so you develop completely different. Because, like, for example, when people, like, for example, come into work at Best Buy and they like, you know, hey, does this camera have a tape in it, or do y'all sell VCRs or
Or
stuff like
I
that?
need internet to my monitor.
Yeah, you probably don't know anything about that, but I'm like, yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Because
We sell it.
I was there. CRTVs, like the first, you know, like,
you remember a good chunk of the 90s for sure.
yeah.
So-
The only thing that I necessarily miss was the NES. Like, I wasn't that old. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't see the first Mario come out.
Like, I remember
Yeah.
one year for Christmas, I got the first PlayStation, so...
Yeah, but we know what that is. Like, I had an
Yeah.
Atari.
Yeah.
I wasn't, you know, I didn't
And
have
a lot
like
of
the
it, too,
first
is, like-
Atari, but we had an Atari.
We had a lot of like the hand downs too.
Yeah.
Because we had older siblings.
Yeah, but that doesn't
So we were
happen
exposed
now.
to all that.
Because now, like, for example, kids now, they're PlayStation, Xbox, or they want a cheap laptop to play something.
Or they have
Like-
an iPad or...
Angry Birds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Angry Birds generation.
But we're still technically Angry Birds generation. Like, the kids playing Angry Birds, like, we were teenagers when Angry Birds came out.
Yeah.
Like most people think, like, we were. How old is?
But we
that?
weren't born into Angry Birds.
We're not the
I mean,
Angry
it was
Birds
one of the.
generation.
It was like one of the first games we ever played as an app was Angry Birds.
Yeah, but I never played that. I played
Angry Birds.
Bad Piggies.
Bad pig.
Anyway, what's this wrapping into?
So she goes. She pretty much is saying, like, I didn't know what I was talking about, and about like Windows 98, and I was like, and then trying to get her all this stuff. She ends up spending like $1,500 with me. It kind of blew my mind. I thought she wasn't gonna buy anything, but like just her, and then a bunch of other people coming in and not telling. Like they just say random stuff all the time that contradicts kind of like what they're saying, because they like, I guess, forgot about the past versus the present. Like, Windows 10 is not slow. Like, Windows 10 is not the worst operating system that Windows ever made. Like, it's
Vista.
yeah. I think Vista and XP are in garbage. 98 is garbage. 8's super garbage.
Oh, yeah, it's bad.
7 and 10, after they updated and make it good, are pretty good. So then at least the next part, Race. So Race had a customer. He told every single employee in the store. He had a customer over in Car-Fi, and the customer, he goes, I need a radio. And he goes, okay, what kind of radio? He goes, I'm just looking for a radio. The funny thing about radios, I don't know if you know this, and he was like telling to Race, because I don't know if you know this, but there's satellites don't exist. And he's like, what? He's like, yeah, satellites don't exist. Space doesn't exist. The world is flat, and Satan. Satan created the internet. And Races just had to sit there and it's like,
These are all things I believe in.
enhance. And
I don't think he's looking for a radio.
I was like, I don't know what
That like escalated so fast.
Yeah.
Satellites aren't real.
You can't
But
like
the Earth is
strap
flat.
in for that, dude.
and
So,
Satan created
You
the
don't
internet.
want the satellite radio?
Dude, that's why the internet is so badass.
because Satan.
I can see Race's face just like,
Yeah, dude, I just get the flat Earth part is like the least like the least ridiculous out of everything, saying like there's no space, and then bringing religion into it. Like he forgot the first 8 days of the earth being created. If he's a Christian, like kind of like blew my mind.
So what did he say to the dude? Like, did he end up?
No, the guy didn't buy anything. He's just a crazy guy. Literally a guy who literally walks into places and he talks to the employees and he tells them ridiculous things. It happens to me all the time,
dude,
too.
I want to get him on my new podcast. I want to get him on Blue Shirts, and I want him to tell that story.
I could not deal with that because I would just like my brain would turn to mush and leak out of my ears. I just could not handle that.
God dang, Tim.
Wait, what happened?
He just hit the chair on the wall.
Slammed the hell out of it.
But anyways, what was I going with this? Yeah, I was listening to an old podcast that we did today at work, actually, and it was the one where we talk about aliens briefly. And Lake was talking about how he was looked into stuff about aliens before and how we all talked about that.
Mm-hmm.
And my coworker, she heard me listening to it. She said, "What are you listening to? You're listening to the radio?" I was like, "I'm just listening to a podcast, and they're talking about aliens." I didn't really bother bringing up that I was on the podcast and I was listening to myself on my podcast. That sounds kind of weird.
Narcissistic.
We've all talked about this. We love going back and seeing or listening to older episodes that we're not like as familiar with. But I was like, "Yeah, do you believe in aliens?" And she goes, "Nope, can't believe in that." And I was like, "Why not?" I was like, "It's totally possible. Like throughout how infinite the universe is, that there's got to be other planets that are just like us with maybe not humans, but like other life forms." And she goes, "Yeah, I just don't think that's real. I just can't believe in that." And I was just like, I can understand somebody being stupid, but also,
oh my god,
I can understand if you're stupid, but even stupid people can realize that the aliens are real. And I was just, yeah, you can believe in that. I'm sure. Yeah, okay, that's fine.
Yeah, me and Zach, we were just chilling on the balcony at Gulf Shores, and he's like, "This whole beach, every grain of sand, there's more like universes and galaxies than every grain of sand on this beach." And I was just like, "Damn."
Yeah, you know what? That's actually false because there's no space.
Yeah,
stupid.
Yeah, we're all
God,
like
get him off the
podcast.
You're no longer a host. You're no longer part of the podcast because the world's flat. We live inside of it.
What a weird episode.
If you guys want to hear some like crazy theories and stuff, let me know because I got a library.
When's the last time you saw a satellite?
Can we pretend that?
You got a point.
Dude, you know when you get viruses? That's Satan, okay? It's Satan putting a virus in your computer. Those no sites.
Probably why I feel so crappy right now. I do not feel good.
You were looking at too much internet.
It's not wrong.
I know 2 YouTube videos that can prove we're in a simulation.
Just 2?
Well, I mean, you can go to more.
Are they like VR games?
No.
Oh, okay.
They're scientific experiments.
Oh.
What?
I believe
scientific experiments.
I believe we're in a simulation.
Involving waves and light particles.
So, what I was mentioning before, I was watching Final Destination last night, and because it was the anniversary of it, and it made me think of walking into the movie theater younger, or the times where you would pay for something and go see something else. Mm-hmm. Do y'all have any movies that you would pay for and then go watch something else? Or walking into like another movie, waiting for someone to leave, or your parents, or something like that.
No, because I was never like the kid who was like, "Ooh, I'm gonna sneak into another movie." Like, if I wanted to see a movie, I would just pay for a ticket to go to it. I was never like, "Oh, I'm 15, but you got to be 18 to see this movie," because most of them were horror movies, and I didn't like horror movies anyway. But I did go on a date once. And this girl that I went on a date with, she wanted to see this one movie or something. She wanted to make out in the theater, and the tickets that we bought to see the movie with was a packed out theater, and so we couldn't just like make out in the theater. So we came back out and was trying to find a different theater to go into, and for whatever reason, the movie that the new movie that we found to go into was like a kids movie. It was like a cartoon, like children's movie. And so we go in and there's not a lot of people in the theater, and we sit up like in the back corner, and the movie starts, and it's like this cartoon movie. So I'm already like, oh, this is weird. There's like a bunch of kids around. and then this woman comes in, and she's got kids with her. She comes up and she sits like 2 seats over from us, and I'm like, well, there goes that. Come to find out, that's my aunt. She's sitting there. She's babysitting at the time. Do you remember? Doesn't matter who it is. She comes in. She's like babysitting. She brought the kid. Well, so we're sitting there and we're just doing our thing. And then I look over and my aunt's just like, hey, how's it going? What are you doing? I was like, son of a. And we were like 16. I was probably 16 when
kids
that
being
happened.
kids. I have similar story where going into a different with Zach's on.
Oh,
no.
Wow. We were watching Fern Gully.
Going into a different theater than like, 'cause my friends, there was one time where it was the first Paranormal Activity movie first came out, and I said, this movie looks stupid, I'm not gonna go see this movie. So like, we went with like a group of probably like 8 or 10 people. 8 of those, like the majority of those people went and saw Paranormal Activity, but me and my friend Alex at the time, we were like, we don't like scary movies that much. We're going to go see something that's like better or funnier. So we went and saw an actual good movie, or a better movie by any means. We went and saw Zombieland, I want to say.
Yeah.
Way better movie.
Way better movie for sure. And then we were so happy because I remember after everybody came out from Paranormal Activity, they all thought it was so scary. Like they were just like so freaking out about how scary it was. And we were like, I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Brandon.
Zombieland was incredible.
Yeah.
And like it was a lot of fun, really, really funny. And then there's another time. Do you guys remember the movie Splice at all?
Yes.
Okay, Lake remembers the movie Splice. But
I synchronize.
Yeah.
So same scenario basically. We get a whole bunch of friends together. We all kind of want to go see a movie. A lot of them want to go see Splice, but I'm like, I have no idea what this movie is about. I didn't come here to go see a stupid scary movie that's probably going to be trash. I'm going to go Get Him to the Greek by myself. So I go see an even better movie by myself. Get Him to the Greek by this point had been out for like, it was probably on its last week of being in theaters. There was nobody in the theater, but it was a great movie. And I remember they came out of that theater of Splice saying, wow, that movie was
this much.
That movie was bad, and we should have gone and seen another movie. And I was like, always go with my gut on movies now. So I do want to go see the movie Us, though. They're about to go see that movie.
We're going Saturday. If you want to come with us.
Oh,
what movie?
Invitation?
Yeah, you can come.
I might come.
We're going to go at
It's kind of late.
I don't know if we want to go at 7:20 or 10:40.
Either or is fine.
There's the two spots.
What
I'm going to
movie
say
is this?
7:20. Us. It has 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I was going to kind of mention this. What I think. Do you have any?
Heard of it.
It's the guy who made Get Out, Jordan Peele.
Jordan Peele. He made like a.
Oh yeah.
I was thinking about this the other day, kind of how the way I think what Us might be about.
Oh, that one.
Kind of the whole because only seeing the trailer like one time on Twitter at the time, and seeing kind of how like what the movie was basically about very briefly, I was kind of thinking of like what the movie actual message might be about. And I don't know if we really spoke this to you, Tim, but have you ever seen the trailer to it?
I don't watch trailers.
But I imagine you've probably seen what the movie's about, right?
I saw the artwork. That's all I've seen.
So I don't know if I want to ruin it for you now.
Don't just stop.
I don't watch
Don't.
trailers because they spoil everything. Like he asked me today about Avengers, and I'm like, no, I didn't watch it.
It doesn't spoil anything. What I'm about to say is really doesn't spoil anything at all. I kind of feel like the way the movie is how the media portrays people of color, and how like people of color truly are to like each other and the community and people around each other. That's kind of how I see when I watch the trailer, because I feel like in one instance it kind of shows them as like being like just horrible like monsters, that they're just murderous monsters, and that's kind of how like maybe the media wants to portray people of color or like minorities or just like that kind of stuff, whatever. Whereas like the actual family themselves are of course just like a normal loving family who just wants to be like get along with the community and everything. And that's kind of how, I mean, that's how all of them are as well, but that's kind of what I think the message of the movie is really about.
Makes me want to watch the trailer.
The trailer does not give it away at all. Like the trailer,
It was a really good trailer.
yeah, that's kind of how, that's what I was thinking the true message of Us is about, or what's trying to get it across. But at the same time, I could be completely wrong. I mean, I was completely wrong about Get Out when I watched it. So
Yeah, Get Out was. I thought Get Out was a little overhyped. I didn't really like it too. Like I thought it was good, like cinematography wise, but I was like, I didn't see it as like the best horror movie to come out.
I like Get Out because of how to the point it doesn't. I don't feel like it drags its feet at all. It gets to the point, how it should, as fast as it should, and still like paced very well and shot incredibly well.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like it was a big lead up to a specific, because whenever in the movie, like, I don't know if you guys have seen the movie yet.
Which one?
Get Out.
Had
I
it
haven't seen it.
spoiled.
Huh?
Had it spoiled.
Okay. Well,
Yeah, they Get Out.
Yeah.
I mean, it's in the name.
No, when the scene where he gets hypnotized and sent to like the sunken place, I think that's what it's called.
Yeah.
I felt like that was probably going to be later on in the movie, like where it's going to be like towards the end of the movie, but it like it's like one of the very first parts that happens, just like super quick, and I was like,
you would like that part,
it's
Zach.
one of the most intense parts of the movie.
Yeah, it reminds me when Scott Pilgrim goes to like through the door.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he sees like Ramona like falling and going by. It's similar to that. But if y'all want to see Get Out, if you actually want to actually watch Get Out, I have it on Blu-ray if you want to borrow it and watch it.
Oh, okay.
If you want to. It's on
Netflix, though, right?
It's a good movie. I just didn't think it was like best movie of the year kind of as like it got. So I'm excited to see Us because it maybe takes Jordan Peele and he's able to expand and even make it broader. Because I mean, most people's first like big movie like that,
Yeah.
you know, it's either a hit or a miss. Yeah. And then you have...
You mean Keanu wasn't their big breakout hit?
What was that?
that's
Keanu?
about the cat. That don't count.
Yeah.
Keanu Reeves?
I didn't even see that one.
Yeah, that don't count.
Who did?
But speaking of trailers, like the trailer for Us is excellent. There's another one coming out, not by that same director, but it's got Jesse Eisenhower. Is that how you say his name?
Eisenberg?
Yeah,
Eisenberg,
yeah, I
whatever.
know you're talking about.
I'm thinking of Walter White. Anyways, it's called The Art of Self-Defense. It's about a guy that gets like mugged. Have you seen that
looked
trailer?
Pretty interesting. I think
And
that's
it's like
Is
the
it-
way they do that trailer is so good. You have no idea what's happening.
I'll watch it then. If I don't know what's happening, I'll watch it. Like Salt.
No. That trailer kind of tells a story about.
It
the
does,
movie,
it
though.
does, but
Did it spoil?
doesn't spoil too much at all.
No, it doesn't spoil, but it definitely sets the tone for. As a trailer does, but it's like it. I don't know. It just depends
Is it
on
like
how
that
you
dog
are.
movie?
No.
No, what I was about to say that.
It's
What I
not
think
the whole
when
movie, the
they're
trailer.
Tim doesn't watch trailers, but I think trailers, depending on the movie and who's making it, whatever, are getting better and better about not giving away what the movie is about, kind of giving you like what you're gonna get into,
Right.
but not gonna give you the story. Like I felt like when I saw the trailer for Get Out, it didn't tell me everything that happened in that movie. It didn't tell me like what the movie was really, really about, but it just showed me that like some crazy intense happens and they get out. But
Me and Sarah watched a movie called Piercing the other day. I watched the trailer for it. We watched the trailer in our bedroom before we watched it on Terrarium. Watched it, I was like, this movie looks absolutely incredible. Like I watched this trailer, I was like, dude, we gotta watch this movie right now. Sarah like agreed. Watched the movie, one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life.
Oh dang!
Absolutely, whoever edited that trailer, edit our podcast, like, because that is that is in. I'll show you at the podcast. It's like
selling dirt.
like, man, I'll show you. It looks incredible, and it's just not good.
I think I remember watching one time. It was when somebody recommended me the movie that we all watch at one point. I don't remember if you were there with us, Lake. We all watched 1 Hour Photo.
Yeah, that was.
Did you
good.
watch that movie with us?
Yeah, that's the one where it has that
Sarah did.
Evangelion.
Sarah did.
Sarah watched it with us. It was
Yeah.
me, you, and Sarah.
I got recommended that movie because Robin Williams insisted they have an Evangelion reference in the movie when it was getting made. And I got recommended that. And I remember going and watching the trailer before 1 Hour Photo, what it's about. And the trailer that I saw, I think it was maybe fan made at this point. It does not give away at all what the movie is about, but it does show like the main characters with life, and then it kind of shows like his life and why he is the way he is, and then it shows briefly like him in the darker moment of the movie for a second, but it doesn't give away like what the movie's about at all, and the movie is incredible.
Yeah, the ending, man.
It's
It mentions Neon Genesis. So
yeah, because Robin Williams was a Ava fan.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah.
he didn't call it Evangelion, but
Yeah, he did. I think he may have done that on purpose because
Evangelion.
he portrays like an older gentleman in the movie. So
No, I haven't heard of that movie.
That movie's incredible. Like,
Fantastic.
and I was
movie.
telling when we were watching it, I'm just sitting because
It's directed incredible.
Oh my god, I am such a big fan of like if a movie looks incredible, I'll bypass the story because if I see scenes that like are breathtaking, like that's it. That's why I'm a huge Revenant fan. Like the Revenant, there's like 20 minutes of talking in that whole movie, and some of the talking you can't even understand it because of the different language. But it's so beautifully shot because they had to shoot it and literally they had a week to shoot that movie because people had to get airlifted out of it because it was so cold and the conditions were so rough. But the scenes are so beautiful. And Tom Hardy, you can't hear him like every other movie he's in.
Wait, what was
That's
the
the one
Revenant
movie
about?
I had no idea that was Tom Hardy until the credits rolled. I had no idea that was
I
him.
like Tom Hardy a lot. He's a good actor.
But I completely disagree. Yeah, it was a beautiful movie, but the story was shit. I hated The Revenant. I did not like that movie at all.
What'd you think of the story for a 1 hour photo? I think it's a really good story, but
I
it's
thought-
shot like the way it's shot. It really because it's a build up thriller that's just like a suspenseful thriller, and that's kind of and the way it's shot is just like perfect for that. I'm sorry to interrupt you,
good.
Tim. I really want Zach because Zach. It's not a scary movie, but I really want Zach to watch because I have it coming in the mail soon. I really want both of you actually to watch Perfect Blue with me.
Oh, that'd
Perfect
be-
Blue.
Yeah, you would love Perfect Blue.
What's it about?
It's an anime.
Oh,
It's an anime movie.
Okay, I like
I'll watch
yeah.
it. Yeah.
But like if it'll totally I
Anime?
don't know
Yeah.
how Zach feels about like anime movies, but I feel like Perfect Blue will totally change how you feel about an anime movie because it's not a scary movie, but it's an intense like suspenseful thriller. It's a masterpiece.
I haven't seen an anime
10 out of
like
10.
that, like suspenseful thrillers.
Oh,
I haven't
yeah.
seen anything
It's-
like
it's
that.
incredible.
Like it's like there's points in it. Like it's like watching a trailer a little bit. Like there's points in it that you're like, dude, what is gonna happen? Because you have no clue.
It
like-
blurs the lines of the main character. It blurs the lines between like reality and like what's going on in her head and like fiction, and she's trying to be like a TV star and all this kind of stuff. And it really blurs the lines between like what she's doing on TV and then in real life, and then kind of like in her like personal life as well. And it's
like her mental.
it's
thing.
an incredibly shot movie, directed beautifully as well, and it's from 1998. So you wouldn't expect the way like how old it is to look as good as it does still, but I have it coming in the mail soon. And I've been wanting all of us to watch like a movie for a while, and I think that would be a really good one.
I got a question for you guys. Do you have like a movie? It could be just like one or two that you can watch it any number of times regardless, and it's just still really
You know
good.
what mine is.
I know what Tim's is.
What's Tim's?
Grandma's Boy.
That's
I'm not
That's not-
wrong.
it's not right. I would say that's the one of the two. But the other one is Zach. You can answer this one.
Scott Pilgrim. What?
Oh my god!
Or is it Pulp Fiction?
No, Dewey Cox Walk Hard.
Oh,
No, see, I don't feel the
that's
same.
like the one. Yeah.
I could watch Walk Hard every single day of my life, and I'll be okay.
But I feel that way about like
Oh, it's so
a
good.
lot of movies. I've seen a lot of movies that I guess like my retention, I remember what happens in the movie. We talked about this with Grandma's Boy. Of the 60,
You love it, but you can't
60
remember
something
anything.
times I've seen that movie and that I know everything that happens in that movie, I'm like, okay, this scene happens, then this scene happens.
Yeah.
And right after this happens, it rolls right into this. But what did he say? What is...
Stop hitting me!
It's not like I can quote that movie. And it's the same way with... I think my favorite movie is The Social Network. I love that
Never
movie.
seen that movie.
I love that
I think
movie.
I have that on
If
DVD.
I'll watch The Social Network with you if you watch Perfect Blue with me.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, the reason I brought that up is I recently rewatched Up in Smoke.
Ooh.
That is my top favorite movie
Is that
ever.
Cheech and Chong movie?
Yeah,
Cheech and
it
Chong.
is,
So-
yeah.
From
Tell me about
beginning
that.
to end, man.
I've never seen that
I
movie
know it.
either.
Lake could always do this thing when we were little. Whenever we would spend the night together, I want to say the first time I saw Grandma's Boy was with Lake. And so he had seen this Cheech and Chong, he had seen Up in Smoke so many times that he could start from the opening credits, from the opening scenes, and just roll with the movie. And so, same thing like how you and I would just lay in bed at night and just have dumb conversations. For me to fall asleep, I'd be like, hey, Lake, start Up in Smoke. He'd be like, all right. And then he would roll right into it. And like, it was like scene for scene.
Can
so
you still do it?
Barely. Like,
He was
I can
so
still,
good at.
it's most memorable scenes I can still remember.
And so it was me. I was like, okay, he's funny, but all right. And then we would get up in the morning and watch it, and I'm like, that's exactly what he said. Like, that's exactly what happened. Like, man, he was so good at that.
I'm kind of like that with Dewey Cox. You cut me in half pretty bad. Like, I mean, like, I know, like, all the quotes, like, from beginning to end of that movie.
Coming real deep, Shrek.
Have you ever...
We quote Shrek a lot.
We do.
That's a good... I love Donkey. God. So, have you ever watched Dewey Cox?
Mm.
Have you ever watched Dewey Cox?
Watched it with you.
Have you ever watched Dewey Cox?
Yes.
Okay. Lake, you gotta watch Dewey Cox. Because this is my favorite comedy of all time. And
Let me look it up.
It's John C. Reilly, by the way.
For movies, what do you guys think is my favorite movie? I think Tim knows my favorite movie before.
Could be Austin Powers, right?
Which one
Probably two.
Yeah.
is the second one? The way Lake has talked about how he's seen Up in Smoke, I think my most watched movie of all time, if it's not, it's one of the Austin Powers movies, because I've seen the second one like at least. I think I've seen it like probably like 50 or 60 times. I just love that movie so much. And
Gold Power? Gold member?
Gold.
it's The Spy Who
Power.
Shagged Me.
God.
Spy Who Shagged Me. Everything about that movie, I love that movie so much. If it's not that movie, what other movie would you think it would be, Tim?
I don't know.
That I can just watch anytime. I just love it so much. Because there's not a lot of movies that I'm just down to watch all the time. For Austin Powers, it's like, yeah, I want to watch that movie.
I don't know, because I don't.
It's got to
we
do
don't watch
a
any
lot
other
with like
movies but that.
how the movie makes you feel, like the environment,
Dude,
the
'cause it's-
vibe,
yeah, but, like-
music, everything.
Because Austin Powers movies are so nostalgic, because I used to watch them all the time in high school, and I had all of them on DVD at one point, and I would just like, sometimes at on the weekends or like after school, I would have nothing to watch on TV or no homework or nothing to do. I'd throw those movies on and just like, because they're funny and I know all the lines to them. If it's not like that movie, we watched Napoleon Dynamite not that long ago. I could probably watch Napoleon Dynamite every single day. It's still stupid as hell. It's still gold. Everything about that movie is gold.
Because my lips hurt real bad.
Idiot. Yeah, I can't narrow down just one. I swear I'd probably have a list of like 8
The dude,
that I could watch every single day.
the
all
dude,
time.
what was that movie?
The Dude, that's the Big Lebowski.
That
Yeah.
Big Lebowski. I know you were.
I've
Like,
never seen The Big Lebowski.
You had like this
actually.
whole month that you were just all about that.
Mhm.
Never get that guy on a podcast because you had to bleep the whole freaking episode.
I remember
They
that
cut
one
so
scene
much in that movie.
where
Like,
you're
I
just
can't
chilling
believe
in
it.
a chair in the kitchen and he just gets like hit in the face by a cup. That has been used in so many different memes. And I couldn't remember where that came from.
After you talked about how much I never watched that movie when I was younger. I only watched that movie after you lived with me.
What movie?
The Big Lebowski. I didn't watch it till you lived with me,
Mhm.
and I watched it like finally, because like you would think, because I'm a huge bowler and I love the bowl and do everything like that would be a movie I would definitely want. And also growing up with Comedy Central, like before you could stream it and
Mhm.
everything, like you would watch it randomly. Never saw it. Like it didn't like look like it appealed to me, and then watching it for the first time, and you're just like, these are literally 3 guys that shouldn't be friends that are just complete assholes to each other. And it's pretty comical.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's the glue, bud.
I guess. It sounds like the Mochi Mochi podcast. Am
the
I
glue
right,
with
guys?
us,
Am I
man.
right?
It's the glue with us
Yeah.
somehow.
I'm only friends with you, Tim, because you're best friends with my cousin. And I work with you now.
Only.
It's like you're
That's
like
a total
digging yourself
lie.
deeper and deeper.
I gotta get up and walk around
I
for a
tried to
second.
be like serious with
I
that,
feel
what I
like
was just
crap.
saying. I couldn't even hold it.
You guys want to wrap up the podcast?
Yeah.
Hayden's about to
guess so,
collapse. Oh God. I'm good.
Boy's feeling a little bit sick. All right, everybody. We're going to cut it short.
It's midnight.
Hayden's feeling bad. It's midnight. We're going to wrap it up. Thanks for hanging out with us this week. This episode's been all over the place. But we're getting back into, we had a question come up that I meant to bring up earlier in the episode. Last week we talked about, one of the weeks we talked about how me and Hayden walked into one of these gift shops at the mall and saw the Dumbo shirt and how it was $50 and we turned and walked out. Somebody asked the question if we had planned on going to see the new Dumbo movie coming out or if we were familiar with it. As someone who, way to go. as someone who grew up, like that was like my childhood favorite movie.
Not mine.
My mom says that she would put that movie on repeat just day after day after day after day. Like that was my favorite movie. As someone who loved the original so much, I almost don't want to watch the new one because I like the original so much. Way to go, Blackout on that one.
The whole podcast falling apart at the end.
But I watched the trailer and I don't know. I'm not feeling too good about it.
I
That's
watched
like the Aladdin one too.
I think Aladdin looks good. The second trailer, I actually watched.
Yeah, the second trailer looks a little better.
I was like, dang, dude, Genie, like Will Smith looks like he's killing Genie. Like it's so good.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it the benefit of the doubt and watch it.
But anyway, yeah, I'm definitely not gonna see Dumbo. I'm not. That's just not a movie that
I want to know.
I want to see the crows talk. That's about it.
Well, that
would
seems
be
like
cool.
really cool.
That's
but
all
I
I
want
wanna
to see
see is
how
the
they do
crows.
that drunk scene.
The psychedelic stuff.
Yeah, I want to see that. That's what I'm more hyped about.
Yeah, I just don't know.
If we watch it,
I don't
let's
know.
watch the old one and then watch the new one.
Yeah.
That way we can have like a Jungle Book. You know how Jungle Book's really good, the live action one.
I like Jungle Book. Yeah.
And
Now
then-
was Mowgli? Alex said that Mowgli is not a spinoff of Jungle Book. Like Mowgli is its own standalone. Is that true? Because it looks like the same kid actor from Jungle Book, right?
Yeah. It does.
Anyway,
Thank you for
Well,
joining us tonight and seeing us again tomorrow.
Tell them where to find us, Lake.
You can find us on Spotify. You can find us on iTunes, YouTube.
Search
Are we
for.
on Facebook?
No. Search for.
You can search for Mochi Podcast.
And I've been your host.
I have been your host, Lake. Thank you for listening to us today.
I've been your host, Zach. My host, Lake. His host,
Tim and Hayden, and we
Hayden.
love Tim,
Come on,
Yeah.
man.
not Lake.
I'm a small host.
Hello to your boy.